condo that you're about to buy in Kelowna has a little secret that you might not know about. And it's not in the listing photos, it's not in the price, it's not in the floor plan or the view or the finishes. It's buried inside a stack of documents that most buyers never actually read. And by the time it actually surfaces, then you're already the owner and you're stuck with the problem. So I want to walk you guys through the specific types of condos in this market right now that are kind of like traps, essentially. Not because the buildings look bad, but most of them actually look really good. But the ones that look good actually can be the ones that might be the worst and the best and the biggest traps. So I want you guys to know these things before you buy anything. My name is Jack Bouvier. I'm a local realtor here at Vantage West in the Okanagan, and I help people with this every single day. This is the conversation I have with every single condo buyer I work with before we even ever step into a unit. So let's dive in so you don't have to face the same issue. Let me give you a little reframe first, because most buyers approach the condo search really backwards. They look at the unit, they decide if they like the finishes, the layout, the view, the location, they imagine their life being in this new home, and they check the list price against their budget, and if it all lines up, then they get super excited and they move forward with an offer. Totally reasonable. But the problem is that everything that determines whether that condo is actually a good financial decision for you is invisible on the actual listing sheet. It lives inside the strata documents, and most buyers, unfortunately, and some agents as well, never actually dig deep enough into those documents before a deal actually closes. Let me walk you through the exact categories of the condos that you want to think very carefully about buying in Kelowna and the Okanagan right now, and looking at these before you do. So category number one is the pre-2000 buildings with unresolved envelope issues. This is the classic leaky condo risk in BC, and it absolutely applies to Kelowna. Between that 1980, early 2000s, a significant number of those multifamily buildings across British Columbia were constructed with building methods imported from California. Much drier climate, the face-sealed stucco systems used during that era were not really designated for the BC moisture conditions here. This resulted obviously in moisture inflation, lots of rot in the wall cavities, mold, structural damages that in many cases ran into tens of millions of dollars to remediate. So there are still some of these buildings in Kelowna from that era that have not been fully remediated, and the financial consequences of buying into one of those are very severe, and it's going to lie on the owners of those condos. There's going to be special levies for the building envelope, working routinely, running up to $30,000 to $100,000 per unit or more. So if the building's contingency reserve fund cannot cover those repairs, then every owner is going to get that bill. And another thing is, you have no choice of opting out. You can barely even avoid it. Before you buy any constructed buildings in that early, before 2000s in Kelowna, you need to see the building envelope assessment, you need to see the depreciation report, and you also need to see the last 2 years of strata meeting minutes, and look for any references to water ingress, moisture, repairs, or any engineering assessments at all, just so you're aware of what's truly going on. And if your real estate agent cannot read those documents properly and explain what they mean for your financial exposure, and you need either a different agent or a strata document review service before you commit, please do so. It's going to benefit you long term. If you need an additional set of eyes, a second opinion, reach out to me. My information's in the comments, and I'd love to help you out. Category number two is the buildings between 2000 and 2015 with major repairs right now. This category catches lots of people off guard because these buildings are newer. They didn't have a lot of leaky condo issues going on, but they are entering the age right now where lots of major common property components are happening, like your roofs, the elevators, the boilers, the parquet membrane, mechanical systems. Those, just to name a few, are due for replacement for a significant repair cost. And in BC, starting in 2026, strata corporations with 5 or more units are now required by law to have an up-to-date depreciation report. The previous option to vote at the annual general meeting to waive this report has been eliminated. That is a significant change and a very big one, since right now there are still buildings in Kelowna operating without an actual current depreciation report, or with an outdated one that doesn't reflect today's construction cost. A depreciation report is the building's 30-year repair timeline. It's going to tell you what major components exist, when they are expected to need some replacement, and how much that's actually going to cost. It also shows whether the contingency reserve fund is adequately funded to actually cover those costs, or whether the owners are going to have to pay a little bit extra with a special assessment levy when the roof needs replacing in a couple years down the road. So really make sure you look at that. The number that I want you to remember, and a healthy contingency reserve fund holds, I would say, at least 25% of the building's annual operating budget. So if a building's reserve fund is sitting well below that benchmark and major work is coming up on the depreciation report, you'll be buying into a very special assessment. It's not a question whether it will come, it's really a question of whether how big it's going to be and when it's going to come. I've seen buyers walk into a deal excited about a $400,000 condo with fees of only $200 a month, but then they get hit with this $25,000 special assessment within a year of closing. The low strata fees are not always a good sign. Often they are actually the clearest sign of a building that's been chronically underfunded for years. It's reserved while kicking the repairs down the road, and then the bill will eventually always arrive. So please make sure you do your homework. I hate to see this happen to people years and years. Now, category number 3 is the investor micro unit condos built between 2018 between 2022. This category is specific to the current market moment, and it is extremely relevant right now, since during the boom years leading up to 2022, Kelowna saw a wave of new condo development specifically and specially designed for the investor market, the people looking for those short-term rental markets and whatnot. And so those compacted one-bedroom units, studio configurations, small square footage optimized for rental yield. The pitch was short-term rental income for the tourism market, or that steady long-term rental income from a growing population of new people coming here. However, here's what happened to that thesis. BC's Short-Term Rental Accommodations Act came into full force into May 2024 and eliminated the Airbnb income model for the vast majority of these buildings. The legislation reduced Kelowna's short-term rental income from 2,400 units to 388 overnight. So unless your building sits in one of those smaller numbered or specifically designed tourism zones, then you cannot legally short-term rental your unit. However, the mayor in the city today, as for this recording, just announced that they will be introducing some more short-term rentals in certain buildings. Those purpose-built rental apartments have been completing construction all over the Kelowna, and they've been adding about 1,300 new rental units to the pool in 2025 alone. So the rental vacancy in Kelowna hit 6.4% in 2025, which was the highest in any major Canadian city. So now landlords are competing for tenants and rents have softened. And so if you are an investor with those micro units and you can't Airbnb, or maybe you can depending if your building is in that new zone, then it's going to completely affect the rental market with all of these new purpose-built supply that are sitting in a resale condo market where the benchmark prices are down 15.6% from the 2022 peak. Now, these owners many of them are just caught with the exact position that we've all been discussing for years, that you can't sell without taking a loss, you can't rent enough to cover the carrying costs, and you may or may not be able to Airbnb at all. So if you are buying a condo in Kelowna today and your plan involves generating income from it, whether it's short-term or long-term, you need to understand which category you're buying into and whether that building is actually allowed for those short-term rentals or not, and whether the numbers will actually work long-term at the current long-term rental rates before you close, not after. So make sure you do your due diligence and make sure the numbers make sense. Category number 4 is the buildings with those rental restrictions that are hidden until after you buy. And this one is operationally very dangerous for those investors and anyone who actually might need some flexibility time. So those rental caps of 10% to 25% are common. Some buildings have removed the rental restrictions entirely. However, others do have very strict rental prohibitions. So what that means is, in practice, is that if the rental cap in your building is 20 and 20% of the units are already being rented, then you cannot legally rent your unit even if you need to. So if you get a job transfer, you need to move temporarily, or experience a financial situation that requires rental income from your property, you may have no option. So before you make an offer on any condo in Kelowna, your real estate agent should be pulling the entire Form B information, certification, and the current bylaws, reading them thoroughly for checking out all of the rental restrictions so you're aware. This is not optional due diligence. This is absolutely mandatory and foundational to understanding what you're actually buying, and it's what I do for all my clients every time we buy a condo. I pull this on every deal I do, and I've seen buyers saved from significant mistakes by catching these restrictions they had no idea even existed. So again, make sure you always do your homework and hire the right real estate agent. Now, category number 5 is the new presale condos in the current market environment. This one requires some nuance because presale purchases are not inherently bad, but there are very specific reasons to be cautious right now. These new presale condos in Kelowna are currently priced at $700 to $1,200 per square foot. So at the same time, some of these resale condos in comparable buildings are available at meaningful discounts due to those prices. So developers are offering incentives, multiple free rents a month, reduced deposits, free prepaid visas one of my friends got, lots of upgrades, additional parking, just because they're competing with this resale environment and inventory that is sitting on the market. So for many buyers right now, this well-selected resale unit in a building with really good strata financials offers sometimes much better value than those pre-sales at today's developer pricing. So there's also this BC home flipping tax that you have to consider, because if you buy a pre-sale condo today and complete it in 2 years, any profit that you take that you sell within that 2-year window is taxed up to 20%. So those tax tapers to zero at that 2-year mark. Make sure that you're aware of that. Now, for investors buying those pre-sale with a plan to assign or flip at the completion date, then this fundamentally changed that math in 2025, and many people are still not accounting for it. Finally, just last note, with those pre-sale projects carrying that completion risk, delays do happen as well. Costs do increase, markets change between when you sign and when you actually close. So if you are locking in at today's price for a product that you'll not receive for 1 to 2 to 3 years down the road in a stabilizing market, that is different from a rising market. That risk profile is different than it has looked in 2020 or 2021. So there's lots of uncertainty and risk along with that. So I just want you to be aware. So what should you be doing instead of just avoiding all these buildings outright? That's not what I'm getting at. I'm not saying Kelowna condos are bad investments or that these buildings cannot be bought. All I'm saying is that they require specific due diligence, and I hate seeing people trapped and paying more money than they have to. Most buyers just aren't even aware. So before any condo purchase in Kelowna, I want you or your real estate agent to be reviewing over that Form B information certificate, the last 2 years of strata counseling meetings, minutes, and also just the current financial statements. The depreciation report is also very important to review over, as well as the building insurance summary and the current bylaws. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's so crucial that you go through all of that. Now, together, all of these documents are going to tell you what you're actually buying into and not just what the listing presents. Listing agent's job is to sell the unit, but you must be aware. So get your own real estate agent to represent your best interest. Specifically, you want to know, is the contingency reserve fund adequately funded? Are there any current or pending special levies that you're going to be hit with down the road? Has the building had any water, ingress, mold, or envelope issues? What is the rental cap, and is it near the limit? Are there any outstanding lawsuits involved with the strata? When are any of the major components due for replacement, and is the reserve fund actually on track to cover those costs? A good real estate agent will know how to read these documents and explain it in plain English for what they mean for you and your situation. And if your real estate agent you're working with is not doing any of this due diligence as a standard part of practice for their process for you to buy a condo, then
I highly recommend you find one that will, because this is potentially one of your largest financial investments. Now, Kelowna condo market right now, for a buyer who does their homework, offers a good, genuine opportunity. There's really good value right now in the marketplace. Prices are down from their peak. The inventory is up. So buyers do have some negotiating leverage they've not had in years. There's good options out there in the market. So the window where you have some choice, you have some time, some inspection conditions available, is not going to be open forever. But the buyer who will do well in this market are the ones who buy the right unit in the right building, not just the one that looks shiny and bright with the best photos. If you're shopping for a condo in Kelowna and you want someone in your corner who's actually going to read this strata documents, run the numbers with you, tell you straight up what you are actually buying, then simply reach out. This is what I do on every single deal with every client that I take on. And I invest in this market myself. I know which buildings have strong financials and which ones do not. And I know which ones have problems hiding in the paperwork. So feel free to reach out. My contact information is in the description below, along with my Calendly link. If you want to book in a call, happy to do so. Absolutely no pressure. I'd love to talk about what you're looking for. I'd love to talk about what you are actually looking at before you make an offer. So I appreciate you watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.